Hello, good evening, and welcome to today's program. My name is Tunde Disu, and this is Become a Better Man. You're very welcome from wherever you are watching this program live, or if you are watching this after the live broadcast, you're very welcome. Last week, we started looking at a new topic on this platform. We started looking at personal charisma. Personal charisma is one of the things that we said is a tool, it's an aid that will help us become what God has given us, has assigned to us to become. It is part of the ingredients that we need as we go on this journey of life to become and to establish and to achieve and fulfill the purpose for which we are here on earth. I know the word charisma has been used in different ways, has meant different things to different people. But on the program last week, we said charisma is not about how you feel or what you put out. Charisma is more about what or how you make the other person feel because they were with you, they were in your presence, they had an interaction with you. They had an engagement with you. Their path crossed yours in one way or another. And after walking away, how they feel, how they see themselves, it's a demonstration or it's an affirmation of whether you have this thing called charisma or not. So last week we were looking at charisma as a presence. We were looking at charisma, one of the elements of building a personal charisma. We talked about your presence. And we also defined charisma. We said charisma is a constellation of complex and sophisticated social and emotional skills that allow individuals to affect and to influence others at a deep emotional level, to communicate effectively with them, and to make strong interpersonal connections with them. As you can see, there are so many parts to charisma. It's not just about your macho. It's not just about showboat. It's not about your flamboyancy. That is not really what charisma is about. It's about how your contact and your connection with other people, how it makes them feel, what impression they left with or is left on them, and how your contact has added value to their lives. That is what charisma is all about. We said charisma is an authentic power. You see the word there, authentic. It's not a fake. It's not a make-believe. It is authentic. It's an authentic power that captivates the hearts and the minds of others. It's an authentic power that captivates the minds and the hearts of other people. And last week we talked about when you say charisma, people give different examples, and usually those examples are people that we have all come to know, recognize, appreciate, and refer to as charismatic people, especially our leaders. So we looked at how your presence, your physical presence, and also your being present in the here and now, how that is an element that builds personal charisma in your life and in my life. Today we are moving to the next element of charisma, and we're looking at power. We're looking at power. Now, when I say power, I'm not just talking of physical strength and all of that, although that is part of it, but power in its raw essence, power in its raw meaning, power in its core itself. It's not about your biceps and triceps and how many six packs you've got and how ripped you are and all of that. That is not power. Power is a means or power simply means being perceived as able to affect the world around you. The perception that people have about you, the impression that people have of you, the way people see you, the way they perceive you, is that you have what it takes to affect the world around you. And that is power. Now, that ability to affect the world around you could be whether through your influence, or through your authority, or through your position, or through your wealth, your status, your expertise, your intelligence, or even could be just through your sheer physical strength. But it goes beyond what we have narrowed power to be, and just think if somebody's got big biceps and triceps and this and that, their chest is wide, their shoulders are bulging, they're walking as if there are 3 of them in a park and all of that, we think that is power. But in most cases, that's actually not power. It could just be somebody who likes bodybuilding. But power in its raw core, power in its simplest form, is the ability to affect the world around you. And that world could be physical world, it could be people world, it could be market world, it could be political world, it could be social, economic, governmental, whatever world that is around you. Your singular ability to effect and affect that world is what power is. And like I said, this ability to affect the world around you, the circumstance around you, your immediate environment, your immediate contact, could be because you have influence, you have authority. Maybe you are well endowed financially. Maybe you have a political status. Maybe you are an expert in an area. It could be because of your intelligence or just your social status. And that is what power is all about. The truth is, powerful people get things done. And that is why we all like to associate with them. That is why we all like to be around them, to be part of their lives and be related and be connected to them in one way or another. Because they get results. They get things done. And in some cases, it's not just the fact that they get things done. It's the impression that they can get things done. It's that impression that if I can only get hold of this person, if I can only be in the presence of this person, if I can just tell this person about this situation, I know they will do something about it. I know they have what it takes to change the situation. I know even if they don't know how to do it, they have enough contact that can help with the situation at hand. And that is what power is about. That's what power is about. Therefore, charismatic individuals, they have the tendency to draw people into this element of power that they have. They draw people into their circumference and the influence of power that they possess, whether you like it or not. Even when we were in school, when we were in primary school or in secondary school, we always like to have somebody as our friend. If the person is physically strong, if the person is very intelligent, if the person is very smart, if the person is very neat, whatever stands that person out among the crowd becomes their power of influence that draws others into them. People are generally drawn to those who have resources. People are generally drawn to those who can make a difference in their lives, to those who can change the course of story, to those who can add value to their lives. A good example is the affinity, for instance, that we all have towards our leaders, especially our pastors, for the mere fact that they are they have that title, for the mere fact that they are in that office, for the mere fact that they carry that authority, we gravitate towards them, we give them, we assume, and almost in some cases elevate them to a very high position, because we presume, we assume, we feel they have the power to do things, to make difference, to change the course of our lives, to add values to us, to give us a perception, or to give us a reason to see things from a different angle. Because of all of that, we perceive them to be powerful people. I know in the Christendom we call it they are very anointed, but ultimately it's all about power, because even the anointing is available to change things, to make things different, to remove burden and destroy yokes. And that is the difference that power does. The truth is this: if you may be the most affable, attentive person in the room, but if people don't perceive you that you have power, they will just look at you as, well, he's a nice guy. Oh yeah, she's a very, very pleasant lady. And it won't go beyond that. Even though you may have the answer to all the solutions, answer to all the problems. But the mere fact that people do not perceive that you have power, that you have the ability to affect the world around you, they don't see you as powerful. Meanwhile, there could be somebody there who really can put two sentences together, but the perception that they can make things work, they can make things happen, that becomes a magnet that draws people into their lives and into their influence. Having said all of that, last week we looked at the first element of charisma as presence. Today we're looking at power. The third element, which is what we'll look at next week, is warmth. But unless you mix these three together, unless you have a good balance of these three elements, you will not still have the full dosage, the full package of being a charismatic person. Remember, last week we said charismatic people, because of the perception and the way we relate to them, they always somehow get things done, and because of that, we attach ourselves to them. Whether we know it or not, somehow the results that they are getting they are results that we are helping them to get. We go out of our ways to favor them, to open doors for them, to run their errands, to do their biddings, to answer their calls. All of this put together, because the result is associated with them, they are perceived as people with charisma, people with power, people with presence, somebody who can bring change. So unless you have a good balance of these three elements, you'll not be charismatic. A powerful man who lacks the complete package can sometimes be seen as arrogant, cold, aloof, self-centered, and all of that. But when you are able to balance them, when you're able to mix the three together, you are unstoppable. You are unstoppable. So this week, as we're looking at the role or the element of power in the building or in the making you a charismatic person, so that you can achieve what you want to, what assignment you have, so that you can attain the goal that you have set, so that you can fulfill your purpose in life, and people can come around you and support your dreams, your goals, your aspiration. We're going to quickly look at what does it take. What does it take to have this element of power as far as being charismatic is concerned? how to engage ourselves to build this power, to have this power in our life, to accommodate, to appreciate, to envelope it, to build it, and even if you have it, to increase it, so that you can begin to make a difference in your life and in the lives of the people that are around you. So quickly, how do you do that? As far as power is concerned, with regards to being charismatic, your body language plays a big role in conveying power on you and making you influential, making you charismatic. Your body language, your posture, the way you carry yourself, the way your frame hangs around you, the way you wear your clothes, the way your strides, all of that are elements that will make people perceive that you have power. When I look, for instance, at some leaders in our days and generation, I look at somebody like Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Tony Blair. Those are leaders that they just ooze there's something about them that just make you stand at attention when they appear. People like Margaret Thatcher, you just need to see her in her person, in her place, and without her saying much, you just know that this person carries a lot of power. In fact, Lady Thatcher said, if you have to tell people that you're a lady, maybe you are not. If you have to tell people that you have power, maybe you don't. It lets your person, your body language, your presence, your posture, the way you present yourself, let it be what will tell people who you are and what you are. The thing about power as an element of being charismatic is it's like you want to apply for a job, and they say for this job you need 3 years experience for you to be able to apply for this job. But in order for you to gain the experience, you need to get the job first. So it's a case of the chicken and the egg, as it were. In order for you to portray, to show this power, you have to have your body language has to speak it first before it starts. You can start to demonstrate and show it. So in order to achieve power, you may first need to give the impression that you've already got it. You may first need to give the impression that you already have it. Now, does that mean you are faking it? Well, you can almost call it fake it till you make it. But make sure that whatever it is you are putting out, you have substance to back it up. And as you go along that route, people will start perceiving you. Remember, it's not about what you say you are. It is the perception that people have of you. It is the way people see you, the way they think about you, the way they approach you, the mindset with which they relate to you that heap this element upon you. So you may have to give the impression that you already have it. And as you do that, people begin to recognize that, and their recognition will start to confer on you the power that you need to build your charismatic self. Because as people perceive your charismatic power, you will gain their respect, you will gain the real power itself, and that will make you feel like, now that I have it, I need to demonstrate it. Now that I have it, I need to show it. Now that I have it, I need to flaunt it, almost as it were. And so one is rubbing off on the other. The people are recognizing you and you are demonstrating it. And the more you demonstrate it, the more they heap it on you. And before you know it, you are now in a position where the days of giving the impression is over. Now you are living in the bull's eye. You are now a full-blooded, powerful, charismatic person that people cannot help but relate to, be drawn into, choose to follow, to imitate, to emulate, to copy, to want to be like. And that is how your body language will help you in the course of building power to become a charismatic person. Offering an impression of power comes down to enhancing the things that human beings are wired to want to have, to want to be part of. And that is where your body language, your appearance. You remember last week we talked about presence. This week we started looking at power, but the first element we're looking at is your body language. It's your body language. If you go about bent over and slouch and looking weepy as if you've just been pulled out of the river, nobody will perceive you to be powerful. Nobody will heap that power on you. People will just think, oh, he or she is just a sissy or a weakling. When in actual fact, you could be powerful. But the way you carry yourself, the way you portray yourself, the way it is, how you go about, people will see you. You remember some months ago, last year, we did a home program or 2 programs on first impression. We did a whole program on first impression. And if you have not seen it, I would advise you to go to my YouTube channel and search for it. We talked about first impression. How quickly people make a decision on you within the very 6-7 seconds of meeting you. And unless you have the ability or the opportunity to relate and be in constant contact with that person for a period of about 6 months, that first impression sticks with them, and that's the way they see you. It's the same thing with this issue of power as far as being charismatic is concerned. So another way by which you can boost or increase your power level to become charismatic is become more confident in yourself. Become more confident in yourself. You see, power, in whatever form you see, in whatever form you relate to it, in whatever form you imagine it, power starts in the mind. It has to first of all register and resonate in your mind before you can project it, before you can give it, before you can express it, before you can show it, before you can display it. It has to start in your mind, in your heart. If you feel confident and powerful in your mind, others will feel it too. Others will see it. Others will experience it. It will rub off on others. But if in your heart of heart you are shaking and timid, that is what will come out. That is what people will see. That is what people will relate to. I think most of the time we think people are mind readers. We think people are psychic. But they're not. They can only relate to what we project. So if you project confidence and being powerful and being eloquent, being self-assured, that is how people will relate back to you. So ultimately, we train the people around us on how to interact and relate to us based on what vibes we're giving out. But self-assurance will give you an irresistible aura, and that aura will draw people into your circle, into your influence, and make them want to get to know you better. Have you ever been in the presence of somebody and you just feel there's something about that person? I really will really appreciate just spending more time with that person. It is the aura, the irresistible aura about that person that draws you into their influence, that draws you into their circle, because in themselves, whoever they are, he or she may be, there is a depth of self-assurance. There is no doubt in their minds about who they are and what they are and what they can do. And it is that self-assurance that pulls you into their circle. And when we talk about self-assurance, one of the key elements or the key core of self-assurance is mastery. When you have mastered an art, when you have mastered a trade, when you are good at something, you can't help but show it. You can't help but it will come out by itself. It will just come out by itself. When you're an expert, it marks you as someone with resources. People see you as somebody that is resourceful. People see you as somebody that has answer because you are a master in that field. For instance, if I say John Maxwell, the first thing that comes to mind is leadership. Do you know why? Because we have all come to a conclusion, either deliberately or by default, that when it comes to leadership stuff, your first person to talk to, the best person to go to, is John Maxwell. Because he is seen as an expert in that field. He is seen as an expert in that field. When you become an expert, when you become a master over something, fundamentally you change the way you feel about and the way you carry yourself, and the way people relate to you will change as well. When you are an expert in a field, people defer to you, people relate to you, not just as an ordinary person. They relate to you as an expert in your field. And you know what that will do? It boosts your self-confidence. It boosts your self-assurance. And therefore, the vicious circle will continue. Another way by which you can build power as in the process of becoming a charismatic person, another way you can build power is to know a little about a lot. Know a little about a lot of things. What do I mean by that? It is good to be an expert, to be the go-to person in a particular field. But don't be a one-way traffic person that is like all you know, all your life, everything about you is about that one thing. It's about that one topic. It's about that one aspect of life. I just used John Maxwell, for instance, as an example now for leadership. But you know that John Maxwell also is very, very knowledgeable in a lot of other things, including the preaching of the gospel. John Maxwell he for some time was a full-time pastor in some churches in America. The same thing, when you know a little about a lot, this is what it will do. It will give you access to so many circles. You can communicate, you can interact, you can relate to different people from different fields, from different angles, in different topics, and you don't feel like a fish out of water. And when you make your contribution, it doesn't feel like you say, well, that's just way out of it. No, when you contribute to conversations that people are having, you're making sense. You're bringing relevance to what they're saying. And when you do that, people start to see you as not just an expert in a field, but somebody who is well-rounded. Somebody who is well knowledgeable, who has knowledge and wisdom in different aspects, in different fields, in different areas. And it lends you, it opens door to so many other circles or group of people that you will not have had access to if you are just concentrate on one field. Intelligence is one of the key markers of man who is able to affect the world around him. And intelligence is being able to interact and relate to different aspects of life. Don't make your life just about church. Don't make your life just about train. Don't make your life just about nutrition. There's nothing wrong in being an expert in the field of nutrition. That's wonderful. But what about other areas? What about other things in life? Don't bury your head in one sand. Know a little about a lot of things. It will lend you to many groups that you would not have had access to had you been just focused in one area and one area alone. The more conversation you can confidently wade into and add value to, the smarter you will seem to a lot of people. And the more people see you as being smart because of your smart contribution to different conversations, guess what? They will defer to you. They see you as a powerful person. And by so doing, your magnet is growing. Your ability to draw people in, to pull people in, and for people to choose to follow you and listen when you speak, when you talk, will increase. And that is another way by which you build your power as a charismatic person. And one of the ways, or one of the best ways to become knowledgeable in a lot of things is for you to put yourself to study. Read, and read again. Read wide, read different fields into different things. Get to know what is going on in the world around you. Don't just be a laboratory philosopher or doctor, and that's all you know. If it's not chemical mixing this with that, then you can't say anything to it. People will just pack you into one angle and leave you there. But if you are able to add value to different things and to different conversations, guess what? People begin to refer to you, begin to relate to you, begin to see you as a powerful person and as a charismatic person. Another way by which you can build power to add to your charisma and to add to your ability to influence other people is for you to become physically fit. Physically fit. Your body shape is one of the first things people take in when they meet you, when they see you. They look at you from head to toe or from toe to head, as it were. For ladies, you know, when a man looks at you, he looks at you from your head down. But when a lady looks at you, she looks at you from your shoes all the way to your head. The way your body is shaped, the way you hang the cloth or the dress or the coat or the suit, the way it hangs on you says a lot about your person. So when you are physically fit, it sends a signal to people about your brain and your brunt, about your brain and your power, about your strength and your ability to dominate and to protect. Your ability to dominate and to protect. If I ask you, for instance, if you are faced with, say, somebody is attacking you, who would you have on your side to defend you? A Mike Tyson kind of person or just an ordinary office guy from somewhere? Obviously, you're going to look for somebody who has the broad chest and the muscle and the power and the physique to defend you. It's the same thing when it comes to being charismatic. People generally are looking for somebody, not just somebody who can do the talk, but somebody who can walk the walk, somebody who can stand and say, not on my watch, somebody who can protect and preserve and dominate just by their physical presence. Those are some of the ways by which you can build your charisma. And also, when you are a very physically fit person, when you are physically fit, it gives a signal to other people that you are a disciplined person, that you have disciplined yourself. You have put yourself through some rigorous training, either in the gym or wherever, to get to that shape and to that trim. And that tells people that you are very disciplined, that you are capable of enduring pain in pursuit of the goal that you've set for yourself. And that pulls people. It draws people. It becomes a magnet. That's why a lot of people, they go to the gym, they want to have six packs and ribs and good muscle and this and that. It's not just about being physically fit, healthy. No, it's also to draw people into their circle of influence. Another way by which you can build your power as a way of ensuring and engaging your charisma is dress well. Dress well. Now, when I say dress well, I'm not saying bankrupt yourself by going to Gucci and Versace and Dolce and Gabbana and all of that. The truth is, as good as those names are, and as good as their products are, you can actually still look good without spending all of that money. You can actually still look good, dress well, dress for power, dress for purpose, dress for the occasion, dress for where you are going, not just where you are. Dress, and so that when people see you, they give you attention. When people look at you, they have no cause but to acknowledge that you look good, you look smart, you smell good too. And the truth I found out in the course of preparing for this program is some of the things, some of the dresses that are seemingly not looking good on us or looking this and that, all you need is a good sewing mistress, a good tailor, to just tuck it in at the right angles and in the right places. And you come out, you looking completely different. When you look good in the dress you wear, you yourself, you walk taller. Your shoulder is squared. Your head is in the sky, and there's a spring in your feet, and you are bouncing because of the way you look, because of the way you dress. And when you do that, guess what? It draws people into you. People look at you and they say, yeah, I like the way he looks. I like the way she's dressed. I like the way that you carry yourself. I like the choices of dresses and what you wear, what you put on yourself. You've taken the time to make the choice. I gave an example once on one of our programs. I think it was on that same program of First Impression. Back in Nigeria, I was living with two of my cousins. One of them studied in America, one of them studied in the UK, and the three of us, we lived in the same house. And in the morning when they're going to work, the guy from America just put himself together, bam, 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 he's ready to go. The guy from the UK is there trying to match his shirt to his tie, to his shoes, to his socks, and we could spend 10, 20 minutes trying to confirm which one goes better with this. What am I trying to say? The culture has, because for those of us in the UK, you will understand what I'm saying. There is this sense of prim and proper. Now, I'm not saying Americans are not like that, but all I'm trying to say is that culture has entered into both of them, and you can see the way they manifest in their outlook towards what they wear. Now, I'm not saying my cousin from the US is scruffy and unkempt. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying his attention to his dress is not the same as to my cousin who studied in the UK. And so what you wear and how you wear it, how you combine colors, how you mix, it stands you out. It just says something about you. Well, for instance, when you see a military man in their full regalia, in their full uniform, with all the medals and all the stars, the first thing that comes into your head is, this is authority. This is power. Without him even saying anything, your first inclination is authority and power. He hasn't said anything. But the way he's dressed, the way he's looking, the way he carries the way the uniform hangs on him or her just makes you pay attention. It makes you pay attention. Apart from the fact that when you dress well, it makes others perceive you as being powerful. When you dress well, you even feel more confident about yourself. You feel more powerful. You feel like, yeah, this is me. We've all done this. You go in for an interview, and you don't just open your wardrobe and grab the very first shirt and the very first trouser that your hand can touch and you slap them together and off you go. No. We take time to look at, okay, what can I wear? What tie should I wear? What shirt should I wear? What skirt should I wear? What blouse should I put on? That will give a good impression about me to the panel of interviewers. And that is how powerful dressing well is, and how much it contributes to the sense of being a powerful person, a charismatic person, and how that will help you in life. Like I said, you don't have to bankrupt yourself with designer clothes to look good. Another way by which you build power towards becoming a charismatic person is that how can I say this? Let your presence speak power. Let your body language command attention. Not by you walking about with your in a proud and arrogant way. No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't know if you've been in a situation where all of you are gathered together, maybe in a gathering, and you're just having light conversation and just talking, and suddenly somebody walked into the room and everybody stopped and turned to pay attention to that person. He hasn't said anything. She has not even mentioned a word, but just their presence, it just makes the whole room come to attention. That is a powerful thing. And what one of the things it will do is, like I said, it forces people to pay attention to you. It makes people give you room, make room for you. For instance, that person is walking through the room or walking down the corridor, and without saying anything, people are just moving aside. People are just giving them room to walk. People are just clearing the way for them to go by. People are just creating space for them to express themselves. It is called being the big gorilla. Not as in, no, it's just your presence. It commands attention. Your presence commands attention. The truth is this, and you too will have experienced this or seen this or witnessed this. Powerful people, they tend to take more space than others. They tend to occupy more ground than others. For example, when powerful people sit in a chair, they have a way of sitting. Instead of sitting like this, they sit across and almost taking another space or another chair more than the one they're sitting on. They have a tendency of hanging their hand or their body in such a way that when you want to sit next to them, you have to almost tighten yourself up because their presence just demands more space. Now, you may not be big as in big, and the truth is you don't have to be big as in size to be able to do this. It is just a perception of power. So for you, you may want to start practicing some of these poses, some of this body language, some of this display, some of these traits, just so that people can perceive you and see you as a powerful person. You see, it is the perception of others, remember, that we say will determine, will confer the charismatic, the charisma on you. It is the way people perceive you. So when you carry yourself in such a way that people just have to give you a little bit more room than normal, a little bit more space, a little bit more personal space when they're talking to you. Now, all of that, you are building power. You are generating power. You are becoming more powerful. For instance, you're walking down in a crowded place, and without you saying anything, the way you carry yourself just makes people to move aside. That's power. That is power. And then to take it to the next level. Sometimes as people are moving, you bump into somebody. That's not the time for you to growl and shout at them. That's the time for you to display the soft side of you. Say, oh, I'm really sorry. I am so sorry. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to bump into you. And off you go. Guess what? Everybody in the room will pay more attention to that than you just walking down the corridor. Because suddenly, here is the person that we are all perceiving to be powerful and all of that. And the person can calm down and apologize. Even sometimes when they are not the one at fault, but they still take a time to give the other person the advantage. To say, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to bump you. You can't put a price on that. You cannot put a price on that. Now, this next one is for people who really want to make the effort. And it's called, you need to assume power poses for people to perceive that you have power. One of the best ways that which people pose to give the impression of power is by standing with legs slightly wide apart and hands on their waist. It just gives the impression that I'm here. It gives the impression that you have to notice me. You have to pay attention to me. Or sometimes you are in your office, if you have one, and somebody walks into your office. Another power pose that you can assume that will convey power and authority to the other person is, and I know we've all seen this. You see the person put their hand behind their head and they just lean back on their chair. It says to you, I'm in charge here. Or they stand up, hand on the table, and they lean forward slightly. It's a power pose. Or sometimes they just, in the midst of conversation, everybody is talking, they will just stand up and talk. And immediately everybody pays attention to them. Those are power poses. But you have to be careful where you use them and how you use them and when you use them, because if it's not done meticulously, people will see you as being arrogant and aloof and a show-off. How are we doing for time? Oh my goodness. Another way by which you can add power, can build power, can demonstrate power as a charismatic person is to take control of your environment. Wherever you are, take over. Be in charge of it. Be in charge of it. How do you do that? Little things that are seemingly unimportant, unnoticed, and yet when you do them, you immediately take charge of the environment. Say, for instance, you go to a restaurant and all of you are seated on the table and just waiting for the waiter to come and take the orders and all of that. Little things like you just move the salt to one side, move the water there, move the napkin, rearrange the table slightly, not all over, but just move things around. Immediately, everybody starts giving you the extra space to be and to do, and that is power. You're building power. Immediately, you are taking authority. You are taking charge. You are being in control of the whole environment. For instance, we did some months ago, we also did a program on negotiation. And one of the things we said was, when it comes to negotiation, both parties want it done in their own preferred location. One of the reasons people do that is because they want to be in charge. They want to have what we call home advantage. They want to be in an environment that is comfortable, is familiar to them, where they know where everything is and how everything works. It's the same thing about this idea of you taking control of your environment. It's for you to be in charge. These are some of the things you can do to build, to make yourself look more powerful than you actually are. And as the more people perceive you to be more powerful, the more they defer to you, the more they relate to you, the more they want to do your bidding, the more they want to serve you. And the more that is done, the more powerful you become, and the more people you are drawn into your circle, into your influence. Also, another way by which you can demonstrate power is for you to speak less and speak slowly. Speak less and speak slowly. Have you noticed that a lot of influential and powerful people, they don't go yap 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 yap. They are very, very economical with their words. And what that does is it creates an atmosphere of scarceness, of scarcity. And you know, when something is scarce, its value goes up. When something is scarce, excuse me, the value immediately goes up. So when it comes to conversation, they just like to hold back and let others do the general talk. And then once they are ready to talk, they will say very few words. They will say it slowly, so that when they are talking, everybody excuse me. When they are talking, everybody pays attention. Sorry about that. When they are talking, everybody pays attention. Everybody give them audience. And they talk very small, very gently, and then they keep quiet. But those who are not powerful, they like to talk a lot. And in the course of that, they give away some of their secrets. They unknowingly give themselves away to the hands of these powerful people who can then tie them up with what they've said. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, just being nice is not the same thing as being charismatic. You might be a likable person, but not a fascinating person. You're not magnetic. Excuse me. And because of that, people are not drawn into your circle. People are not drawn into your warmth. They're not deliberately wanting to be around and about you. So in order for you to be charismatic, to build strength, to develop this power, which is an element of charisma, you need to work on all these things that we've talked about today. Your body language, your poses, what you wear, the way you carry yourself, your physical strength, your words, the way you use your words, the way you take control of your environment, the way you relate to people, the way you like we said, become the big gorilla in the room where your presence commands and demands attention. When you do that, when you embody that, when you carry that and display that, people start to perceive you as a powerful person, as somebody that they have to relate to associate with, to defer to look up to, because you give the impression, you give the vibe, the aura of a powerful person. And the more you do that, the more people relate back to you, the more people defer back to you, the more confident you become, the more power you build, the more charismatic you become, and the more influential you become. So let's work on developing our power pose. Let's work on some of these things that we've mentioned today. And now, it will not come naturally at the beginning. But don't worry. Rome was not built in a day. Keep working at it. Keep chipping at it. Keep learning. Keep growing. Learn a lot about different things. Become an expert in an area, but don't zero in into just one thing. Be an expert in an area, but also develop interest in other areas, because as you do that, you are able to fit into different and many circles and influence and contribute and be part of what is going on all around you. And those are some of the ways by which people will start to defer to you, people will start to relate to you, people will start to give you attention. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we have said tonight, power is being perceived as able to affect the world around you, whether through your influence or your authority, or through your wealth, your political status, your expertise, your intelligence, your social status, whatever it is that makes people perceive you as having the ability to affect the world around you is called power. And the more of it you have, the more of it you demonstrate, the more of it you portray, the more people will defer to you, the more people are drawn into your circle, and the more you are able to influence them. And that is what charisma is all about. So for you to become a charismatic person, another element that you need to work on to develop is the element of power. The element of power. The element of power. Now, before we close tonight, I want us to think about the people, the families in Florida tonight, whose children were caught in that school gun massacre where 17 people died. 17 students left their houses went to school and were gunned down. Life is short. We don't have any guarantee of tomorrow. All we have is today. Let's make the best of the day, the time that we have. Our thoughts and our prayers are with all the families of those 17 students and all their friends and schoolmates and classmates that witnessed that horrific, horrendous massacre that happened in Florida. I just pray and I hope that this will be the point at which America will wake up and recognize that this issue of gun and gun control and gun ownership is becoming an epidemic in that country, in that nation. In this year alone, the number of people that have been killed by guns is too much. One is too much. So our thoughts and our prayers are with those families and their friends and classmates. And hopefully, God will minister to all the people in authority, all the senators and the people in the House, in the White House, all the state legislators and state governors, to value lives, the lives of innocent children that are being cut short just because they don't want to rock the boat of the gun lobby and gun owners association or whatever. May God give these families peace. The God of comfort, may he put his comforting arms around them and grant them the inner peace that only him can give in a time like this. We also remember the teachers. A particular teacher had to stand in the doorway to shield the students in his class, and he gave his life. He died. Our thoughts and our prayers are with his families too. This should not be happening it shouldn't be happening anywhere. May God grant them peace. May God minister peace to each and every one of them. In the name of Jesus. Amen. Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. It's been an honor to have you once again on this program. Remember, we are not going to stop. It's not up for discussion whether we stop or not. It's not up for discussion. You know why? We have a purpose to fulfill. We have a goal that is set. We have a destination. We have a place that God himself has prepared for us. And we are doing all of this to bring ourselves to a point so that when we arrive at that destination, we're ready for what God has prepared for us. Until next week when we meet again, this is Tunde Disu once again saying, stay blessed. God bless you, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.